Under the bright, humming lights of the Staples Center, Los Angeles carried the kind of electricity that only a true crossroads fight can summon. Fans in blue and white Argentinian colors mingled with seas of Mexican flags, two proud nations converging under a single roof with a shared hunger for violence, honor, and heart. This was not just a fight. It was a clash of reputations, one forged in pure knockout power, the other built on years of technical brilliance and battle-tested resolve. The crowd roared as the ring announcer's voice boomed through the arena. Please welcome the hard-hitting WBC number 4 ranked super lightweight in the world, Lucas Matthysse. The baby blue trunks glistened as the Argentine stepped forward, a man whose tattoos told the story of a lifetime spent carving his name in pain and ink. And opposite him stood Humberto Soto, two-time world champion, veteran of wars, a fighter whose reputation for never backing down preceded him. Soto had demanded a 10-round fight, shortening the window, raising the stakes. He knew Matthysse was a slow starter. He wanted the sprint, not the marathon. As the bell for round 1 echoed, the atmosphere in the arena tightened like a held breath. Soto's combinations flickered early, sharp and fast, a master technician testing distance, rhythm, and reaction. Matthysse remained patient, stalking, calculating, absorbing, waiting. Every blocked punch still carried a whisper of danger. Every step forward was a warning. The tension swelled, not from chaos, but from expectation, because everyone in the building knew what Lucas Matthysse did best. He didn't win decisions. He broke wills. And as the opening round unfolded, the story of this fight, the battle of output versus power, technique versus brutality, was already being carved into the hardwood soul of the ring. Round after round, Soto came alive with the polish of a consummate professional. Quick hands, slick movement, and combinations flowing like water over stone. This was vintage Humberto Soto. He wheeled off the ropes with veteran poise, jabbed with precision, and answered every threat with a flurry meant to secure early rounds on the cards. The commentators noted how strange the rhythm felt. Matthysse, known for thunder, was quiet, almost too calm, as though he were giving Soto rope to weave the very trap he needed. Soto's uppercuts slid between Matthysse's guard, his left hook snapped the Argentine's chin, and his footwork kept him just far enough from danger. For a moment, it looked as though Soto's strategy, the 10-round sprint, might just be perfect. But beneath the surface, something darker was brewing. Matthysse finally began to touch the body, thudding hooks into ribs like a blacksmith testing steel. Subtle, almost unnoticed at first, but each one landed with intent. Soto kept throwing combinations, but now he winced, just slightly, after each exchange. The crowd sighed too. They sensed the shift. Soto was working more, but Matthysse was hurting more. Expert eyes could feel the tide turning. Matthysse wasn't chasing points. He was investing in pain, buying time, buying fatigue, buying future collapse. And as the rounds ticked by, the difference in power began to echo across the arena. Soto threw in bunches. Matthysse threw in statements. And slowly, methodically, the Argentine hunter was tightening his circle around the Mexican technician, as though the early storm had never been anything more than the opening act of his inevitable violence. By the 3rd and 4th rounds, the fight had transformed from a tactical showcase into the kind of brutal trench war only the super lightweight division can deliver. Soto still worked beautifully in spots, sharp jabs, crisp uppercuts, dazzling combinations, but he was no longer moving with the same elasticity. Matthysse had found his groove, stepping in behind a stiff jab, thumping the midsection with left hooks that echoed louder than the chants in the stands. Every time Soto tried to circle away, Matthysse cut him off with chilling efficiency. And those hooks, those monstrous bone-deep hooks, began to change the language of the fight. Soto's punches slowed, his shoulders sagged. He found himself on the ropes more often, trapped in the worst place a man can be when Matthysse is closing distance. The crowd felt every moment with growing intensity. Gasps followed each body shot. Cheers erupted with every counter. As Matthysse dug into the ribs, his expression never changed. He was calm, cold, almost surgical. This wasn't fury, it was craft. Soto, proud and defiant, struck back whenever he could, landing sharp rights that snapped Matthisse's head but could not make him step back. The Argentine absorbed them with the stoicism of a man carved from stone and answered with heavier artillery. Soto stumbled from a right hand late in the round, his legs briefly betraying him. The crowd erupted. The momentum had shifted decisively now. Matthysse's punches didn't just hurt. They drained, they discouraged, they dismantled. And with each passing minute, the Mexican warrior's technical brilliance struggled beneath the weight of the Argentine's growing storm. When the bell rang for round 5, neither man had sat down between rounds. That alone told the story. This was a battle fought on pride, grit, and something deeper. Soto opened the round fast once again, firing off crisp combinations, but they no longer carried the authority they once did. Matthysse walked through them, stalking with a kind of ominous calm that had the entire arena on edge. Then came the shift, the decisive, brutal turn. Matthysse landed a crushing right uppercut that snapped Soto's head back like a whip. The crowd surged to its feet. Soto tried to respond, but was immediately met with another left hook to the body, then a right hand upstairs. Suddenly, the ring felt small, dangerously small, and Soto was trapped in a storm he could no longer navigate. Matthysse pressed in close, ripping body shots with cruel precision, each one folding Soto's frame just a little more. The Mexican warrior tried to fire back, but his punches no longer flowed. They fluttered. His breath came harder, his movement slowed, and Matthysse, smelling blood, unleashed a violent sequence. Right hand, left hook, right hand again, this time crashing flush. Soto's legs buckled, his body lurched, and then, for the first time in his long, proud career, Humberto Soto went down. The crowd erupted in shock and awe. Soto sat on the canvas, blinking, dazed, his warrior's heart trying desperately to will his broken body upward. He made it to his feet, but his corner saw the truth. He was hurt badly. Too badly. The bell rang to end the round, but the drama was far from over. Soto stumbled toward his corner, eyes unfocused, legs trembling with the aftershocks of Matthysse's bombardment. His trainers leaned in, voices urgent, hands gripping his shoulders. "Look at me. Look at me." Soto tried. He couldn't. His spirit remained intact, but his body had reached the limit. The corner exchanged a look, one built on trust, history, and responsibility. And then came the decision that no fighter ever wants to hear, but every great corner must sometimes deliver. "We're gonna stop the fight." A wave of emotion swept the arena. Fans rose, some in applause, some in disbelief. It wasn't the referee who ended the war. It was the people who loved Soto most. Matthysse stood in his corner, chest heaving but eyes respectful, knowing he had just defeated a man of rare toughness and pedigree. The announcement echoed across the Staples Center. This bout has been stopped at the end of round number 5. The winner, by way of knockout, and the new WBC Continental America's super lightweight champion, Lucas Matthysse. The crowd roared, unified in admiration for the spectacle they had witnessed. This was not just a win, it was a statement, a declaration of Matthysse's power, his persistence, and his brutal elegance. Soto, battered but dignified, nodded in acknowledgement. He had never been down before. It took a special kind of force, a force named Lucas Matthysse, to push him to that point. As the fighters exited the ring, the echoes of their war still hung in the air like smoke. This fight, though short by championship standards, carried the weight of an epic. It showcased everything boxing can be: skill, courage, momentum shifts, strategy, and ultimately the unforgiving finality of knockout power. Matthysse's victory wasn't just another stoppage on his resume. It was a reassertion of who he was in that era, one of the most feared punchers in the world. A man who didn't win rounds, he stole them. Who didn't edge fights, he ended them. Soto, even in defeat, reminded the world why he was revered. A technician, a warrior, a champion whose hands and heart carved a legacy few could replicate. But the fifth round became the needle that stitched the fight into boxing memory. Because that collapse, the moment Soto finally fell, was not a sign of weakness, but of human limits meeting something elemental, something primal in Matthyse's fists. After the crowd filtered out, after the camera shut down, after the lights dimmed, the story remained. Two nations, two elite fighters, one unforgettable collision of will and violence. Lucas Matthysse walked out of the Staples Center with a belt over his shoulder and the respect of everyone who witnessed the destruction. Humberto Soto walked out with his pride intact and his legacy unblemished by the defeat that finally came after years of surviving the fire. And somewhere in the glow of Los Angeles that night, boxing fans knew the truth. This wasn't just a highlight. It was a memory, etched in sweat, bruises, heart, and the thunderous fall of a warrior who finally met a punch he could not stand against.